I'm from France. I'm said from Strasbourg, from the east.
Now, so Paul's just graduated. He's just
Wait, once I just got the truth actually about the COVID situation. I know where he got it from.
where?
You don't want to know.
Yeah. Any advice to the high schoolers or to yourself when you were about to go to America? Like, what advice would you?
I think living with your friends make it easier in terms of like when you're on the field at practice, you're just happy. You're playing with no pressure. It was really tough at first because I feel compared to Europe, in the US, it's very direct. People are way more athletic, less technical. You start realizing like, what am I doing here? Like, I know I won't be professional, even though like you're on a good team, like you're in a good D1 like program. So really,
it's all about getting better, and it's all the time about yourself. Are you gonna be a good person? Are you gonna be a good player? Are you gonna get better? Are you gonna try and get better? So it's not the end of the day if tomorrow you get out of high school and you don't go deep.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Select Generation podcast, episode 5. My name is Sam Henneberg, the host, and today we have a very special episode. So I've got two of my closest friends, 2 of my roommates from University of New Hampshire. We got the 2 French baguettes, the 2 Batch brothers, the big Bison strikers. So we've got Paul Meyer here from Strasbourg, France, and Victor Menudier from Limoges, France, both currently living in New England. So without further ado, Paul, I'll let you introduce yourself first, and then we can go to you, Vic.
Yeah, so I'm from France. I'm said from Strasbourg, from the east. I came to University of New Hampshire in 2020 in the fall. I came to do my MBA as I already did my undergrad in physical education back home in France, and I graduated this master last year, and this year I did a certificate as I had an extra year to play soccer. And so I just graduated in May, and I'm currently looking for a job in the Boston area to do my OPG.
nice. So like Sam said, my name is Victor. Was born and raised in France. I started my journey in the US in 2017 in South Carolina. Played for a small D1 school, Presbyterian College, for 2 years, and then went on the transfer portal at the end of my sophomore year to play at a better level. Joined University of New Hampshire and played there for 3 years. Got my undergrad in 2021, and I got my master in data science last year. Just started a job last June. I'm currently working for a bank in Boston. So yeah.
Nice, good. And just for all the viewers listening or watching, we will have subtitles. So if you can't understand anything, then don't worry, we got you. But well, Vic, let's start off with you then, talk about that. So obviously you entered the transfer portal. So you started off in South Carolina at Presbyterian. You had, I want to say, one of the best seasons on the college books, because I know you got pretty far. So just talk to us a little bit about transferring process. Why did you want to transfer? What were the pros, the cons? Like, what was going through your mind? Are you happy you transferred? Like, just talk to us a little bit about that process.
Yeah, sure. So I played 2 years in South Carolina. We won the conference for the first time in the school history, so it was pretty good. It was a very small school, and after 2 years there, I wanted to explore new things and wanted to go to a bigger university, play at a better level, like I said before. So I talked to my coach in like January or February and asked him if I could transfer. Obviously, it's a hard conversation to have, not always easy, but then you go on a transfer portal and then the coaches start reaching out to you. And I went on a couple visit. So I toured a couple campus for a weekend, and I really liked the environment at University of New Hampshire. The coaching stuff was great. A couple of years before, they won the Division II national tournament with Southern New Hampshire, so I knew they had a great record. And the team was already playing well. A couple players from the U.S., a couple players from Europe, and right away I knew it was a right fit for me. And then yeah, then after 2 years, 1 year after, Sam and Paul joined the team, and that's when I think in 2021, the fall, we reached the Sweet 16, and that was our best year. But yeah, it was definitely like a great turnaround for me.
Yeah. And then Paul, you went through a similar process in terms of you transferred from the French university over to America. So you completed your undergrad when you were 22, 21. So talk to us about why you might not have gone to the US at 18. Why did you go to France? Why did you go to university in France? And then how did it come up that you found the University of New Hampshire or thought, okay, I want to go and do my graduate school in America? Like, what's your story, or like, how did it work out for you?
Yeah, definitely. Um, so after high school back home in France, I was I was pretty sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a PE teacher in middle school, high school, maybe a university. But so I was pretty sure, and that was the path for me to go in France, go to university for 4 or 5 years. Um, but then after 4 years of doing PE school, I mean, be a teacher, I wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do. So I had a couple options, and everything was pretty difficult to like change your routes. So I decided to like take the adventure and come to the US to learn a new language, learn a new culture, and also what's difficult back home in Europe, it's to play soccer at a good level and also study at the same time. So that's that's really that's something that was really interesting for me coming to the US, and I think that's why I decided to come also to learn English as well and to get more opportunities, more experience, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, because I remember picking you up in the I remember I picked you up from the not even the airport, the bus stop, and Hubs texted me like, yeah, this clown forgot his I-20. Remember?
Yeah.
You left your I-20 in the suitcase.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. But yeah, you also picked me up an hour 30 late from the bus station when I
Yeah,
was traveling for 15 hours.
yeah. But well, talk to us a little bit about, so Paul, for you, obviously you came when you were 22, so you were a little bit older and kind of had already been moved away from home. But Vic, coming to the US at 18, like for me, coming at 18 was obviously it was a massive change, moving away from home and whatnot. But obviously I knew the language, so that was a lot smoother transition. But for someone coming from France, like at 18, your English wasn't great. So talk to us a little bit about like the transition. What did you enjoy? What did you struggle with? Like how was the move for you your freshman year?
Yeah, freshman year was definitely like one of the hardest year for me. Obviously, learning a new language, a new culture. But I was fortunate enough to like work with an agency that helped me with all the paperwork and that all the connection in the US. So I think these guys were great with me. They kind of guide me through all the processes to get to the US. And I remember I got there, didn't understand a single word of the English. Was kind of lost for like couple weeks, but then you go to classes, you talk to your teammates, and obviously you're part of a team, so it makes it easier for you to learn everything like quicker. But it was one of the biggest challenges in my life. But obviously, looking back, I'm still in the U.S. and I would not change like whatever I've done the past 6 years. That opened my eyes on a lot of different things. Um, so yeah, like great takeaways from the past 6 years.
Yeah. And then Paul, you like we said, you came a bit later. What did you miss most about home? And what did you like most about coming to the US that you couldn't do when you were at home, going to university in Strasbourg? Like coming over at 22, you're a bit older. What did you miss and what did you like about the US that you couldn't do at home?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the same thing, I would say. like the good thing about the US is to be part of a team. You have practice every day. You with your team every time. You go out on the weekends with your team. So you have good friends all the time. You're always with them. So that's a good thing. But sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. And being with the same people all the time, sometimes you want your freedom and do your own thing. So that's what's different about back home. I was going to university with some people. I was playing soccer with some other people. I was going out with some other people. So it's back home. I would say I had three different things. Like if I didn't like one thing, I could switch quickly from one to another. One here, I mean, I was lucky enough to have an amazing team, an amazing campus, and so many friends here. But I would say if you don't like your campus, you don't like your teammates, it can be a little bit more difficult because you have to be all the time with them. But that's definitely something I enjoy. So yeah, I would say choosing your university by the people, it's sometimes more important than by the level of the team if it's just a little bit different.
Yeah. And I'm sure Hubs and Chi maybe will be listening to this, but Vic, in your experience from playing in France, playing in South Carolina, playing in New Hampshire, like let's talk a little bit about football now. Like, how did you adapt to the UNH team? Because you have a pretty crazy story. Like, I think you were obviously one of the better players at Presbyterian, came in the spring to UNH, didn't really play as a centre back, and then ended up being our top scorer in the spring when we won the conference tournament. So how did you like adjust to the American, like how is the American game different to the French or the European game? And then talk to us a little bit about like your personal journey in terms of going from centre back, going to striker, and then being one of our, if not one of our, our best players in that fall and in that spring.
Yeah, I mean, it was really tough at first because I feel compared to Europe, in the US, it's very direct. Uh, People are way more athletic, less technical. So it's a bit of an adjustment. When I was playing at Presbyterian College, like you said, I was playing center back, and then I really wanted to go professional, and that's why I transferred. That's why I went to UNH. Didn't play my first year, and then all of a sudden, like I wasn't sure if I wanted to be professional anymore, and my mind kind of switched towards like looking at the bigger picture and looking at all the opportunities after college as well. So I was playing without pressure when I play striker because obviously I've never played that position before.
You play
Ended
with
up,
me too.
yeah, I played with Polo, but ended up doing good somehow. Still don't know how, but I did it. And then I knew I didn't want to play a professional after, whether it would be MLS championship or whatever division in the US. So I started focusing on school and working with people, trying to find a job. Um, so I think the most important is like finding yourself, like what do you want to be after college, like, and evaluate yourself compared to other players and know when it's time to like looking at other options rather than going professional.
Yeah. And then just touching on that, like playing for New Hampshire, Paul, obviously me and Vic played. So Vic, you played 3 seasons, but only really saw the field 2. And then I played 2. But Paul, you played for 3 seasons. So in terms of New Hampshire, that spring was a crazy season because of COVID. Like we had like a week of preseason, one friendly, and then we had 8 games, like back to back to back. And then we'll get to the licking of the gas tank later on. But yeah, and then the fall, obviously we played the fall, we did like an amazing season, and then you just played this fall where you got knocked out by FIU in Miami. So how did the spring and the 2 falls that you played, like what was the difference between the teams? Like was there, obviously with us, I think 9 or 10 seniors graduated. So talk to us a little bit about like New Hampshire on the field. Like how was it different between each season? Is there a season that was your favorite? Is there a season where you were frustrated? Like talk to us a little bit about, as from a player's point of view at college, how it's different every season, because you know in the pros you pretty much get 2 or 3 players leave, whereas in college you get 5 players transfer or 5 players graduate, 10 players. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about how each season was different for you, what you liked, what you didn't like, and just your perspective.
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, not happy about COVID, but it was a good thing for me that I came in the fall and we all only play in the spring, because I had time to like know my teammates, know the coaches, learn the language a little bit better. So I had time to adapt to the environment. And then the first spring season was obviously maybe not my favorite, but it was the most exciting season. It was my first season in the US playing with a new team. So obviously it was super exciting. And then Vic went get some gas, and we couldn't play the Sweet 16 in North Carolina, but us three. So, but then the season after that was literally the best season. We went to number 1 seed Oregon State to play there. We only lost 1-0. We took the Patriots plane to go over there. So that was an amazing season. And then the last season was a little bit more complicated for me on a personal point of view, because all my friends left. My friends in the soccer team, and also a lot of my friends outside the fields from different sports, or only at just the university. So it was a little bit more difficult for me from a point of view that I didn't have my habits with my friends. I knew less the people that already. I mean, I didn't know as well the people I was playing with that the year before, the 2 years before. And I also played in the summer league. We went super far this season. We played the semifinal. So I played the semifinal, and then a week later we started preseason. So I was a little bit tired for that. So yeah, it was a lot for me this last season. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's, as Vic said, it's just the mindset, having the mindset to be like into it, knowing that there's obviously something else after soccer than playing pro. So yeah, just about that.
Yeah. And then Vic, Paul, you talked about when your friends left, and it was a bit harder mindset for you. And then Vic, obviously your first year, us three didn't know each other. We came your senior year of your undergrad.
Second year, yeah.
So just Newmarket. Vic, how did I mean, not for me and Paul to blow our own trumpet, but how did because I like that was two of the, like, now looking back, that's like two of the best years of my life, like living together, like, you know, just going to class, playing football with your friends, and, you know, being a college student, you know, now looking back, it's the best, if not, yeah, the best time of your life. So Vic, how did sort of your living situation, how did the people you live with, because it's important, right? If you're a college student, especially as an athlete, like, you spend more time with your roommates than anyone. So how did like that maybe affect your game, like on the field, your mood off the field, your classes? Like, how did your living arrangement sort of how did it change when myself and Paul moved in?
Yeah, I mean, before answering this question, I want to make this right. Polo got COVID 3 times, and I didn't give Polo COVID, so just want to make this right.
I know, I got COVID after you gave it to me.
So, and to answer your question, I think, yeah, like you said, you're spending most time with your roommates, and I think we had a great banter, and then everything was going smooth. We were going to classes together. We were on the same page all the time. Obviously, going to practices every day together. I think living with your friends make it easier in terms of, like, when you're on the field at practice, you're just happy. You're playing with no pressure. You're such in a good rhythm that obviously when you play, you're way better. And when I first came to UNH, there were already like some group of friends on the team, but like you guys were new, we clicked right away. And obviously, like, when you have people that you care on the field, like, you want to fight for them. And I think that's why, like, our program was so successful when we played there. That's because everyone was fighting for each other, and everyone like wanted to give the best on the field when they were playing. So yeah, definitely, like, living with people that you like and having great teammates help the team be better.
Yeah. Paul, like now looking back, you've just graduated after 3 years. What was your best moment at UNH on the field, but your best moment off the field?
Mm, I would say on the field was the first year we won the Amer I have two actually. The first year we won America East. It was one of the first time. I mean, winning a trophy in the US is way more important than winning a trophy back home. Uh, when we won a trophy, we got some like the best team, MVPs. There's a lot of awards, and then even for the season, you got awards, Player of the Week, Striker of the Week, whatever, all of that. And but the second one was definitely beating UNC at home 4-1.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah, and it was just the stadium was going crazy. We were winning 4-1 at halftime, I think. So yeah, that was definitely my one of my best memory. It's just seeing all of your friends from outside the team coming to the games, celebrating with you. And I think off the field was probably the night after the game. When
Remember
the guys from Pride came.
yeah, the guys from Fried with all the t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Gee, we socially distanced though.
No,
Nah,
it was good.
that was
It wasn't COVID anymore at that point, was it?
that was 2020. That was after we beat UNC. That was a good night.
Yeah.
Paul, that's the only off the field moment that you remember, right?
Yeah, that's the only moment you actually stayed with us and didn't go away.
Didn't go lick gas tanks. Yeah, so Vic, now so Paul's just graduated. He's just
I got wait once I just got the truth actually about the COVID situation. I know where he got it from.
where?
You don't want to know.
Yeah. Right, I think your room at Holiday Inn is still rented out. It's on lease.
My what?
Your room at Holiday Inn.
Oh yeah.
Or that place. I remember me and Vic, we were like, oh, what should we bring him today? And then was it Jeremy? And then you told Jeremy, like, oh, I went for a run today. And Jeremy was like, what? He was like freaking out, remember?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, yeah, I did 5 times, so I wasn't.
I think he was too busy watching movies.
Oh, watching Netflix with the VPN. But yeah, so Vic, obviously Paul's just graduated. He's just about to leave the campus, but you've been away from the campus, like myself, for about a year and a half now. And then looking back, give us your favorite moment on and off the field, but also talk to us a little bit about like what you miss about college, what you didn't appreciate that now you look back like, oh, I missed this, or like talk to us a little bit about post-college, your experience of college, like, yeah, what you like, is there anything you regret? Is there anything that you like, oh, I should have done this, or like that you miss? So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think my favorite moment on the field is like obviously like UNC. I would agree with you guys. I think it was like a great moment. All the fans were there, like watching the game. Obviously, UNC is a well-known school in the U.S. Beating them 4-1 at home was crazy. But more than that, I think it was the journey. Like then we watched the tournament, like bracket all together, and then we knew that we were going to Oregon State, that were #1 in the nation, and then we took the private plane to go there. It was a great journey going down to Oregon State, and off the field, I think all the moments like shared together with the team after winning a game, I think those were the best time for me as well. And obviously, like you said, I graduated like a year ago, started a new job. Being French is not always easy. So at first I started as a contractor, then signed a full time at the same company, and I think just grinding every day. Then you have people trusting you more and more. Opens like a lot of doors, and just I got an apartment. I'm gonna get out of this apartment July 15th. Actually, today I just signed a new lease, and then yeah, just trust the process. When you know what you want, I know what I want now. Like I want to be successful in my career. I let soccer a little bit on the side, but I'm still playing on the weekends. I still have a team in Boston where I'm playing once a week. So I still keep soccer, but for me, more than anything, is just finding your path. And once you have that, you're locked in, and a lot of doors are gonna open.
Yeah, and then because obviously during college, we like to have fun, we like to socialize and, meet people. So when for you did you start to think, okay, now I need to start applying for jobs, or now I need to sort of, sort my LinkedIn out, sort my resume out, network, all of this stuff. Because, obviously for the college season is in the fall, right? So you have the whole spring of your senior year to kind of knuckle down and think about, the summer, what you're going to do in the summer or post summer. But also, it's your senior spring, so you want to have a good time. So for you, Vic, how did you, when did that like switch happen? Like, were you doing internships throughout your undergrad? Were you trying to like always look forward and preparing it? I know you said you thought about going pro. So was there like a switch for you that was like, okay, now I need to sort of, focus on my career, start applying for jobs, sort out my resume? Like, what for you was the click?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said before, when you're in college, you're not playing, you start realizing, like, what am I doing here? Like, I know I won't be professional, even though, like, you're on a good team, like, you're in a good D1, like, program. So, really, like, my junior year, like, I realized, like, I wanted to do something else. And then senior year, it was good in the field. We won the America East. And then that summer, between my senior year and my grad year, because with COVID, we all got an extra year. Um, I did an internship for a financial company next to campus. So I stayed the whole summer there. It was a great experience, opened my eyes on a lot of stuff. And I knew that I wanted to work in finance. And then from this point, I played the last season. We had a lot of fun, and luckily enough, the University of New Hampshire like had great events. So professionals were coming on campus. I had the opportunity to talk to them and just yeah, meeting people, and then during the spring, just applying to like as many jobs as I could, and eventually found one, and then yeah, went to Boston, started my job last June. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the journey there.
Yeah, I think you like, I mean, Hub said it in your senior speech, like, oh, I know Vic's going to be successful, like he's really knuckled down. And the amount of times you were talking about finance, bro, Paul, you remember we were going to the bar and he would be like, yeah, I want to get a good job. I want to work in finance in New York City. Like this guy, I mean, it was a good chat up line to be fair. But Paul, from your point of view, obviously, other than ordering like 5 cases of wine from me, what are you doing now in terms of preparing yourself post graduation? Obviously, you got the OPT, the 1 year working visa. Like you took so you did your undergrad, your graduate year, a certificate. What are you doing now in your life post graduation? What are you looking for? How are you sort of networking and applying for jobs?
Yeah, so for me it was a little bit different from Vic because I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to play at the best level I could. Why not in America? But I also never wanted to put my my studies on the side, so I wanted to do both. So I played summer league last summer. I always play back home. Started mid July preseason to start mid August. The season goes through the whole year. So yeah, it was a little bit different than I never did really an internship. I did an internship last spring, but I never really knew what I wanted to do on the corporate side or about my job. So it's still I was looking for things till in January, February, maybe to play soccer, maybe to play somewhere and fight something. But then I got that switch that I got an MBA, I got a lot of things, so I'll be able to find a job and do well in a job. So how do you put SOS? But no, but so it took a little bit longer to me to start really looking for jobs and wanted to go in the corporate world. So I'm looking right now. It's not difficult, but it's definitely more difficult for an international than for an American to find a job.
Especially the first step, like.
Yeah, it's more because I mean, as Vic said, Vic has had an internship. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. I'm not really in that mindset. I still have a lot of doubts and I'm still thinking about what I really want to do. So it's difficult, but like just today, I had 2 calls with people that recruit only athletes to put into companies. They sometimes also they don't want to do with OPT, but sometimes they do want to help you, especially just as a contractor or something. So being an athlete definitely helps a lot. Like I don't think I could find a job if I wasn't an athlete and I was international in the US. It would be way more difficult. But yeah, being an athlete, you definitely have a lot of people that want to help you, but also building a network as soon as possible, talking to the alums when they're coming for the alum days or the senior night or whatever it is. Just trying to talk to people, connect with people, know what they just people thinking about you the day they're hiring or they have something. It's really, really big.
Yeah, I always the thing that got me was like doing an MBA after your graduation. Like everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people in the MBA class, they do 3 or 4 years of work experience and they go back and do their MBA. So like people are like, "Oh, you got your MBA, like did you apply it to any industry or what?" And I mean, luckily I did an internship, so yeah, I could say yeah, but it's I don't want to say frowned upon, but like doing your MBA without any sort of real work experience can be hard to explain why you ended up doing it. And hard to apply to real life, to the workplace. But yeah, I think like for me, like post college, so for my undergrad, I didn't really enjoy it because it was kind of like Vic, like a small school. We weren't good at soccer at all. It had it had a good business school, which I sort of took advantage of and got a good degree, and then ended up transferring. But yeah, man, I just think UNH is like the team, like the bond we had in the locker room, like going in every day, like playing, training together. Yeah, it was good fun. But right, I feel like it's been a very serious podcast. So, Victor, is there any fun fact about you that a lot of the viewers might not know?
I can't think of one right now. But I'm sure if you give me 2 minutes, I can come up with a good one.
Oh, do you know a good fun fact about Victor that people might not know?
No, but I had a question before. So you said you did your internship next to campus. Vic did his internship next to campus for the summer in between his senior year and his grad year. How was that? Like, who did you hang out with? Because a lot of people are going home or going somewhere else. Who did you hang out with? Did you have any friends around, or did your own thing and walked a lot?
Yeah, luckily, like some of my teammates were still on campus, so I was hanging out with them.
You learn how to surf that summer too, no?
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I bought a surfboard, and one of my friends.
Apparently, he was also building, not building, but making belts.
No, he was trying to strengthen the connections between the UNH marketing media team and the men's soccer team.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was a great summer, and I was going to Boston a lot too, so I had the experience too. Like,
what did you go to Boston for?
I think I got a fun fact. Yeah, it can be.
What?
If you meet Menudier on this podcast, and if you meet a night out, you don't recognize him. It's a different person.
I think the same can be said for the dangerous trio, to be honest.
Yeah, he doesn't want to put himself at risk.
No,
Victor,
His
what's
mom is
your
probably gonna watch. So
Victor? Explain to us, like, well, actually, no, Paul, explain to us. So from the spring when Menudier wasn't there, explain to us a normal Friday when we didn't have a game on the weekend. What did a Friday look like? Me, you, Adam, and some other boys from campus. What did a Friday look like after practice? Talk to
oh,
us.
it was
Talk to us about our Friday schedule.
it was a race. It was a so practice was 1 to 3, 1 to 2:30 actually, and then it was the first bar on the way was three, 3 to 6 a happy hour. So it was make a quick stop here there, and then going to the next one. What started happy hour at 4, and then 4 to 6 going, and then taking a Uber to campus, having fun with the boys, being social distant and staying safe. But yeah, it was pretty fun. I think that's what did the team boundaries, and like we were always together, the team, because we couldn't really go out with different people.
Yeah, I know it was crazy. Like well, I mean, I remember Victor, his first weekend, he came. He was drinking a Bud Light, but with a mask.
yeah, I was scared of giving COVID to my teammates. That was one of the first night drank in college, because it was like the first night out with the boys. But yeah, it was fun.
I think that was the first time you actually drank a beer in your life, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, the school did really good with COVID, like testing twice a week. You know,
I mean, yeah.
school.
When you see the animals you need to.
But, all right. Well, I think that will conclude the podcast. So, Paul, Victor, thank you so much. Is there anything before we leave that you'd like to add?
No, I mean,
any advice to
yeah.
the high schoolers or to yourself when you were about to go to America? Like, what advice would you give?
I mean, you want to go first, Vic?
yeah, sure. I think I mean, for my personal point of view, obviously, like I talk a lot about like working after college and stuff, but I think making these connections with people that can help you going to college and connect you with coaches and explain you the process, because they obviously these people already went through the process, can be super helpful. I know, like I remember when I was in high school, it can be super overwhelming, but talking to people that can guide you through the process and introduce you to coaches, or going to events. Like I went to a showcase as well, and that really helped me going to the US. So I think doing these events, meeting people, talking to people, I think this is super helpful.
Yeah, my advice would be, I think high school to play college soccer. I mean, if you look at our team at UNH, everyone was like 20, 21 to 24 years old. So I think going out of high school, it's all about getting better, and it's all the time about yourself. Are you gonna be a good person? Are you gonna be a good player? Are you gonna get better? Are you gonna try and get better? So it's not the end of the day if tomorrow you get out of high school and you don't go D1 to the best D1 to the best D2. You still, as Vic did, I mean, he still went to D1, but he still went on the transfer and then get to one of the best D1 in the country. So it's not the end of the day. The process is long, especially as playing soccer with a lot of people being over 21, still playing in college. So the process is really long. I mean, just trust yourself, and even if you need to go to D3, D2, JUCO. We have Bombi, like went to JUCO for 2 years, came to UNH for a year, got drafted number 3 pick, and he just got with the Canadian national team. So the process is long. It's not gonna be good every day, but just trust yourself and keep walking and keep enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, I think my advice would be ask so many questions, because like once you get to your senior year, especially for an international, you're thinking, okay, how many credits do I need to take? How many credits do I need to take to be eligible? How many credits do I need to take for this OPT? Like, it's so much better if you start early, take your credit hours. Like, don't use your freshman year to just party and socialize. Obviously, that's a massive part of it, and that's why a reason why you go to college. But for me, like, the way I feel like I got a head start with college, and I did a lot in 5 years because I started early, took a lot of credit hours, figured out what I wanted to major in, researched it my freshman year, so that my sophomore year I was ahead, my junior year I graduated, and my senior year I could transfer for my MBA. So for me, the advice is ask loads of questions, even when players thinking, oh yeah, like if I go to junior college, do I use a year of eligibility? What happens if I don't play at the junior college, but I just take classes? Or, oh, what GPA do I need to get this type of scholarship or to be eligible? Or what type of how early do I need to apply to the school to get FAFSA or whatever the question? Like, make sure you have a resource other than your parents to ask questions, because like I came through a recruiting service, you guys came through a recruiting service. I could have been going to UCLA or a school in Alabama. I would have like thought it was the same. Like, I didn't do any research really. I was pretty alone in the fact that my recruiting service put me in contact with some coaches, but they didn't really, they weren't proactive with me. If I wanted something, I had to go and ask. So for me, it's ask a lot of questions, find a resource to go off to make sure you don't have any questions, and start early your freshman year, because you don't want to get to your senior year, have to take another semester or have to do an online class that summer. Like, start early so that then you can have an advantage at the end. So that's the advice that I would give. But no, that was enjoyable. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Sam, for having us.
yeah, no,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys. I think
Menudier, you can go back to work now.
yeah, Menudier, you can go back, finish some reports, and sort out your camera too. But if you're still listening, which I'm sure a lot of you will be, Victor and Paul are going to be heading the Boston showcase in 10 days from now. So we're finalizing the last bits and pieces, but that's going to go ahead. Exciting. Got some good coaches going. We've got our English and Spain academies that we're looking for players for. So yeah, the kit's all ordered. That's all in place. So yeah. But no, guys, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you for having us.